Welcome back into Wake Up America. Daniel Penny, the man charged in the fatal chokehold death of a homeless man on the New York City subway, has finally broken his silence, giving his first interview to the New York Post, saying that he is not a white supremacist. This comes a day after the man who was killed in this incident, Jordan Neely, was laid to rest in Harlem.
Joining us now for more is business and political commentator, Newsmax columnist John Burnett, and former New York City mayoral candidate and the founder of the Guardian Angels, Curtis Sliwa. Thank you so much for joining us. So Daniel Penny says he rides the subway multiple times a day, loves people of all races, and that this case is the result of a broken system. Curtis, what do you make of this? You see crime all day long in New York. You've seen it at its worst. You're now seeing it get worse, I mean, compared to the last couple of years.
Well, first of all, a great article by Dana Kennedy's been a lifelong reporter for the New York Post. He had an apartment in the Lower East Side. We didn't know that. So he's already in a very diverse community. He's living there. He's traveling the subways every day. He's probably run into other situations in which he didn't put anybody in a chokehold. But he says, I really didn't know who Al Sharpton was. And a lot of people say, well, how could that be? I don't watch the news. I'm a surfer boy. Right. We've all known surfer boys. Yeah. They don't watch the news. They don't know what's going on. They're waiting for the next big wave. Yeah. This guy had no intention of harming anybody. And he's a United States Marine who did honorable service. Who do you give the benefit of the doubt to? Do you give the benefit of the doubt to the Marine or to Al Slim Shady Sharpton, who even wants the two good Samaritans arrested and charged with manslaughter?
Yeah, Curtis, I don't know a lot of 24-year-olds that know who Al Sharpton is, right? But this guy was on the subway going to the gym. He takes the subway so he can get to the gym each day. I want to get your take on this, John. This is the quote from Daniel Penny in the New York Post. Quote, "This had nothing to do with race. I judge a person based on their character. I'm not a white supremacist. Everybody who's ever met me can tell you I love all people. I love all cultures. I'm a normal guy." And then Jordan Neely's attorney basically said this is an attempt by the media and the Penny team to soften public opinion about Daniel Penny. It's not an attempt to soften opinion. It's an attempt to get the entire story out there before this guy is completely maligned by the rest of the media.
Right, there's two sides to every story, right? And to Curtis's point, the next big wave is Al Sharpton, right? Who will try to use this situation, invoking race and other elements into it, to try to make sure that the outcome that are in some minds of New York City residents, that he should be charged and convicted. But there's another cohort of individuals, large base, right, in New York and outside of New York, saying that, look, the thing is that he stepped up not only to defend himself against a mentally disturbed individual, which could and likely was on something because he made credible threats with regard to, willingness to go to do harm, to go to prison, potentially for life.
So we don't have the toxicology report yet.
I know, okay. but when you hear things like that, right, you don't wait around to call 911, especially given the cell phone signals in the New York City subway. Right. And it's in the car, I believe it was between stations. So you step up and you do what you need to do to protect people. And there are different reports coming out in terms of the time in which the chokehold was applied. So I think all these things will come out in the trial to mitigate, the potential legal backlash. And we know that many people stepped up to donate as well as be a part of Penny's legal defense. But there are two stories going on, especially given the fact this weekend, as Penny came out, made his statement, right, speaking from the heart, right, and then you have Al Sharpton eulogizing Penny, making all types of statements. So those two narratives will go into the trial.
Yeah, we have a soundbite from Al Sharpton at the funeral. Let's take a listen.
What happened to Jordan was a crime. And this family shouldn't have to stand by themselves. These lawyers, Lennon Edwards and Dante, shouldn't have to stand by themselves. Because when they choked Jordan, they put their arms around all of us. All of us have the right to live.
Curtis, your reaction to that?
He's mentioning those two liars for hire that are now representing the estate. All family members emerging that hadn't been around for years, and we keep seeing the same loop of Neely doing Michael Jackson impressions. That was 10 years ago.
It was a decade ago. He was not a beloved street
Stop
performer.
this. He
whole
hadn't
narrative
done that in 10 years.
He was doing Thriller on the train. No, he wasn't. He was harassing people. He'd been arrested 40-plus times. And he was wanted.
I'm in the,
he had a felony
I'm in the
warrant out.
hood,
Yep.
and a bunch of young brothers saying, "Me, Curtis, why are you defending the Marine? He killed Michael Jackson." I said, "Idiots. It's not Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
It's a pretender who used to do this 10 years ago on the subway."
Yeah, and he's evolved since then. That may have been
please.
Jordan Neely at some point. But just quickly, so Neely's uncle, and I thought this was fascinating. Neely's uncle basically asked, Daniel Penny's uncle asked why he didn't let go when he had him in that chokehold. Because you watch the video and it's like, well, maybe there was an opportunity. Check that, Neely. Why do you think?
Look, I've been at this, and I've done this chokehold, this headlock, dozens of times.
You've been in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
Similar situation.
You don't let go until the cops get there.
Why?
And where were the cops? They weren't there. So you hold on. You never know. This guy could turn on you, and then all of a sudden you're dead, and nobody says jack diddly squat about you. So what a sucker. He should have minded his own business. He should have been in fear and flee. No, this is a hero. This is a hero.
Right.
And sometimes we know that mentally ill individuals have some type of additional human strength, right? And we also know when it comes down to the street, many people say, okay, I give up, right? And once you actually release the tight grip, then they turn on you, like you said, Curtis.
Yeah.
So the thing is, people need to actually go into the moment, not play Monday morning quarterback.
Right.
And we need to get that toxicology report because I
Yes.
think that'll help to paint a better picture. John Burnett, Curtis Sliwa, thanks so much for being on with us this morning, breaking that down. We appreciate it.